that would be tomorrow, 2020, as DART Electric Bus Day in the city of Des Moines. And I call on all of our residents to recognize this day as the first day DART runs electric bus service in Des Moines, and encourage everyone to observe this milestone by trying public transportation. And congratulations to DART. And we look forward to ever more electric buses in a cleaner, quieter, more efficient transportation system. Thank you for putting this forward. We'll get started with our council meeting in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Amanda, I see you're on here. Do you want to make a couple of comments?
Sure, thank you. I appreciate your support for this. This project was championed by so many people, as you know, and is just really a wonderful example of how collaboration and public-private partnerships can benefit our community. This pilot will allow DART to test this new technology and reduce our carbon footprint and vehicle operating costs. And as I said, there's so many people that made this happen. We're so grateful for each of the individuals and organizations, including all of you with the City of Des Moines, as well as the DART Commission, Mid-American Energy, the Federal Transit Administration, and so many others. So the buses will be running starting tomorrow on local Route 60, which is DART's University Ingersoll Loop. So we invite you to experience those electric buses firsthand. And again, thank you for the proclamation and all of the support to get us to this day. And thank you too for Councilman and Commissioner Mandelbaum, who has also played an integral role in this. So really appreciate the support from everyone to be at this launch point. It's very exciting.
Amanda, thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. All right, we'll start our council meeting in just a few minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna grab something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. Just out here in the venue.
Okay.
I don't have my headphones on, Connie. You're not in here.
No.
Mayor, we're ready.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I think it's time that we start our city council meeting for December 7th of 2020. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please take roll.
County,
Here.
Boson,
Here.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Here.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Your Honor, 7, that's a quorum.
All right. Item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and or as amended. Should have put the amendments on here. Just to let everybody know, item 17, which was vacant, has been clarified and added. Councilmember Westergaard is going to appoint Andrew Wyckoff to the Building and Fire Codes Board of Appeals for item 17. Item 25 was withdrawn by the city manager, and we need more discussion on that particular item. But for that, could we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move approval of the agenda.
It's been moved. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Hearing none, the item passes. Item 3 is a approval of the consent agenda. Tonight, these are items 3 through 31. And I'll ask first, if any council member, do you have any items that you would like to have pulled? Hearing none, and I don't see any, let's ask the general public if they have any items. Let's make a list. If there are some, let's ask Emily first. Emily?
Hi, this is Pastor Emily Ewing. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I would like to remove item number 29 from the consent agenda. Do I need to say why or?
No, that's all right. Item 29 has been asked to be removed. Let's ask next, Hayden.
Hello.
Hayden?
Can you,
Yep, Hayden.
Hi. Yeah, I would also like to have item 29 taken off the agenda. It's talking about like promoting.
Okay, we got it. Thank you. I want everybody to know item 29 will be decided on by the council, so we don't need to have any more requests for item 29. And just so everybody will know that any more requests for 29 will be disruptive. But let's ask Jalen if he has any items that he would like to have pulled. Jalen?
Hey, so yeah, now that you just said that, I really don't mean to be disruptive. I just have a question, I guess, or a point of clarification on item 29. Would that be considered disruptive or?
Yeah, let's, we've got that one, and if we pull it, we'll see how the council wants to consider it.
Okay.
Next, Vanessa. You don't need any more requests for 29.
Mayor County, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I believe I explained this to you last time, but you're stating that the council is going to vote on whether or not they pull number 29. Therefore, you should be listening to why we want to pull number 29. Should you not? But I would also like to request number 29, sir.
All right.
Please and thank you.
Vanessa, thank you. Next, Adam. Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Adam.
Yes, I'd like to start out saying that there's nothing in the rules that say that members of the public can't request the same item be removed. It actually says that any member of the public can call for an item to be removed. So
that's
right.
In mind. That item 29 has been asked to be removed very specifically, and we don't need to have.
It's an endorsement of violence, and you need to listen to us and stop interrupting us and breaking your own rules. Thank you.
All right. I see no more hands up. It looks like the only one that the whole list of people have asked about is item 29. Scott, I'd like to have you make a comment before we have discussion with council on item 29, please.
Yes, Mayor, this is Scott Sanders, City Manager. I can add some more clarity. Item 29 is an item to receive a report from our Des Moines Civil Service Commission. It is the commission that establishes the guidelines for promotions as required by the Iowa Code. This agenda item simply acknowledges that the commission has certified the attached promotions. And I can take any questions from the council.
Well, so we're just receiving this from them. We really have no authority for promotions. Is that correct?
That is correct in that you are receiving the report. You are not approving of the promotions.
All right. So it's an item that we are receiving information. All right, council, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor. If no one objects, I will move item 3 as listed. We're receiving filing item 29. That really doesn't, we don't have a decision whether we're promoting someone or not. I think the public should know that. I think Scott cleared it out very, very well. There shouldn't be any other discussion about that. I'll move item 3.
All right. Any other comments? The item's been moved. All right, would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson. Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Right. Hopefully it clarifies for the public the situation and the information of item 29. And again, we would ask that if anybody has any comments or concerns, please forward it to the city manager or the city clerk, and we'll forward that on to the Civil Service Commission. And as we are receiving and filing this as an informational item, we do not have authority on that particular item. All right, that takes us to ordinances, second consideration, general business for the city of Des Moines. This is amending chapter 134-1.10 with the municipal code of the city of Des Moines, Iowa 2000 by rezoning and changing the district classification of property located in the vicinity of 2421 Forest Avenue from a PUD planned unit development district, RX1 mixed use district, and N5 neighborhood district to a P2 public, institutional, and civic district classification, and by amending the area of the Drake University Recreation PUD conceptual plan by removing 2.84 acres thereof. Ask the council if they have any questions or comments on this item.
Mr. Mayor, this is Westergaard. I don't have any questions about that, but did you acknowledge our no votes on the consent agenda? Because
He
I
did,
was a
Linda.
no.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were on the screen.
He did.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
If, Mayor County, if there aren't any other comments, I'd like to move the second reading of item 32.
Okey doke. For the second reading of item 32, we had discussion on this before. By the way, a third consideration is going to be at a special meeting on Thursday at 5:30, and we're going to allow public comment on that item at that time. So it's been moved by Councilmember Voss. Seeing no other hands up from the council, please poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
No.
Your Honor, that's 6 yes, motion carries.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. My vote is a no on item 32. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
am a no vote. No on item 32.
Okay, the vote is 5-2, motion carries. Thank you.
I thought I was missing something.
No.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no.
All right, item 33. These are ordinances. First consideration. 33 is amending chapter 114 of the municipal code regarding traffic regulation changes as follows. Council communication number 20-537. A is parking restriction on Macokota Drive, east of Germania Drive. B is traffic control change, always stop at the intersection of Southwest 42nd Street and Glenview Drive and River Oaks Drive. C is parking restrictions related to Edmonds Elementary School at 15th Street from Crocker Street to Oak Ridge Drive, School Street. 17th Street north from Crocker Street from 15th Street to 19th Street, and School Street from 8th Street to 40th Place. D is a parking restriction, 48th Street from Aurora Avenue to Merced Street. Again, this was Council Communication number 20-537. Council, any comment on this one?
Mayor, if there's no objections, a couple of these are up here in Ward 1 that are much needed, so I'd like to move 33 A, B, C, and D.
All right, 33 A, B, C, and D this is not an ordinance. This is a first consideration on it, and we will take 5 minutes of public comment at this time if there is any. Scott, you want? All right, seeing none, let's poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Do we want to waive the second and third reading? Since there was no public comment and no discussion among the council?
Yep, we could.
I'm all in favor of that, Josh. So do we just amend this motion or do we create a new motion?
Motion to reconsider. How about a motion to reconsider?
I can do that. I'd like to reconsider the previous vote for item 33, A, B, C, and D.
Yep. Voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none. Now, Bill, give us a motion for
Will do, Mayor.
the second and third.
I'd like to move item 33, A, B, C, and D, and waive the second and third readings.
All right. Poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Thanks for the reminder, Josh.
All right, that takes us to item 34. These are items for public comment, and we've got quite a few to make those this evening. And what do we have for? 75 seconds. All right, so about a minute and 15 seconds tonight. For those persons that, that want to speak this evening under our public speaking items, we will be calling on those who have registered to speak. Because of the number of speakers tonight, as I said, we're going to have about a minute and 15 seconds for each one to make comments. Please keep your own time, because at the end of that 75 seconds, the clerk will announce time and the speaker's mic will be closed. And then we're going to move immediately to the next speaker to keep things moving. Our first speaker tonight on item A is Adam Callanan. Regarding injustice in Des Moines. Let's open it up. Adam?
Hello, my name is Adam Callanan. I use he, him pronouns. As I'm speaking first, I would like to begin reading off the official city council rules, since the presiding officer is just making up rules on his own. I doubt Mayor County will follow these rules, even though he made them, but it's important to know what you're entitled to. And Jeff Lester, you also might want to listen as well, so we don't have to sue you in the future. We don't have any future lawsuits. Rule number 30 specifically says the presiding officer can rule on the germaneness of comments, and after a member of public is not germane multiple times, the officer can refuse to call on them again. This rule gives the presiding officer the power to refuse to call on someone. It does not give him the power to silence someone currently speaking. Nobody aside from the presiding officer, and that includes Kay, can make that ruling. This rule only takes effect after multiple non-germane comments. So for example, if you're in the middle of your first comment, you cannot be silenced because at that point you could not have possibly have made multiple non-germane comments. Okay. Des Moines City Council, please take notes during the next 30 minutes of the agenda items submitted by the public. It should come as no surprise to you all that DMPD and the City of Des Moines are once again being sued for racially profiling and discriminatory policing practices. This is a damning trend that is on display for all to see. For any of you who haven't paid attention, I'll give you a quick recap of some of DMPD's documented harassment and violence towards Black folks in just the past few years. Montre Little and Jared Clinton were paid $75,000 after DMPD racially profiled and harassed them in 2019.
B, Matthew Pierce, regarding community input. Matthew? Matthew, could you put your hand up?
If you're on a telephone line, you hit *9 to raise your hand.
All right, I don't see Matthew. Let's move on to Amy Beadle, regarding 100% 24/7 clean and renewable energy resolution. Amy.
Hi. So my name is Amy Bettle and I currently live in Des Moines East Village. I was born in Des Moines and have lived in the area my entire life. So when the 2008 flood hit, my community's resources were incredibly strained as we came together to provide shelter and food to our neighbors in addition to mending our own wounds. I was only a kid at the time, but I could tell that it took our low-income neighborhood longer to recover than others. This played out again with the recent derecho. Iowans are no stranger to extreme weather events, but even we must admit that they are worsening in intensity and increasing in frequency. The damage of these weather events have escalated from a condition of living in Iowa to just being plain catastrophic. This is a direct manifestation of the climate crisis. Global warming from an excess of atmospheric carbon is the result of burning fossil fuels such as coal. So Des Moines can play a greater role in mitigating climate change by adopting the resolution for 100% clean energy by 2030. On a local level, a resolution like this would benefit lower income households, as I alluded to earlier. Risk transference from weather disasters disproportionately impacts poor communities because building resilience against any type of shock requires resources, and poor people have limited resources by definition. Des Moines can be proactive about this by mitigating climate on the front end rather than responding to weather disasters, because that is only going to be more difficult with weather events worsening and becoming more common if we don't adopt this resolution now.
Time.
All right. Our next speaker is Vanessa, regarding City Council behavior towards the public. Vanessa?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Morinchel, and I'm a resident of the city of Des Moines. And I'm going to continue where Adam left off. Lonnie Porter received a $25,000 settlement after being unlawfully pulled over in 2019, and just this year, the city paid a $75,000 settlement to Kimberly Williams after an officer assaulted her 17-year-old daughter. All of these officers implemented in these cases of misconduct are still employed by DMPD, and some of them are being litigated once again in ongoing cases. Can you imagine not once, but twice or 3 times flagrantly breaking the code of conduct of your job and not being fired by your employer? Josh Mandelbaum, would your law firm continue to employ you if you were founded to be bringing judges on not one, but multiple occasions? Bribing judges on not one, but multiple occasions? Joe Gatto, would Barada stay open if multiple former employees came forward accusing you of violence toward them? Connie Bozen, would the Iowa State Fair continue to permit your food stand to operate every August if they learned you had been responsible for multiple E. coli breakouts? I don't think so. How is it then that DMPD repeatedly shrugs off these officer violations and refuses to remove the transgressors from their payroll?
Time.
All right, our next speaker is Denver Foote, regarding community input. Denver? All right. Denver, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, my name's Denver. I use she, her pronouns. I wish that every single city council member could remember why they ran for council in the first place. Was it to put funding into the schools? Did you have a dream to help make our environment better? Or did you see a problem within your community you wanted to change? But what is happening? Council is in bed with Mid-American while the houseless community is freezing to death. COVID is running rapid in our communities while police are raiding homes at 5 a.m., putting people in overcrowded jails. We have a police chief that refuses to follow city law and a city council that uplifts him, an officer, Brian Foster, who followed and violently arrested Des Moines residents in their own home. There's an outcry in our city, our home, and our communities, while council continues to slam the door in our faces, silence our voices, and put their constituents' lives on the back burner.
All right, our next speaker is Luke Bascom regarding in support of Des Moines Police Department ceasing to exist. Luke? Can you unmute yourself there, Luke? There you go.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, picking up where Vanessa left off, the truth is they realize that Iowa law doesn't require them to have any transparency with the disciplinary actions they take. And most importantly, the police force has a culture of no accountability for wrongdoing. In fact, history has proven that racial profiling and excessive uses of force are actually built into the way DMPD chooses to operate. Currently, there are cases being brought against DMPD officers and the city of Des Moines by Jared Clinton, Courtney Saunders, as well as D'Amico Fugenshoe. All three of them are Black citizens of Des Moines who were stopped by DMPD officers without proper legal justification and were further victims of the racist pretextual stop system that officers in Des Moines have used to pin fabricated charges on Black folks in our communities for decades. Jared Clinton already was made to endure a traumatic run-in with repeat offender officer Kyle Tice back in 2018 that went viral and cost the city $75,000. In October of 2019, officers Brian Minahan, Ryan Steinkamp, and Ryan Jarrett pulled Jared over again because they claimed they couldn't read his temporary tag that was
Time.
All right, let's move on to Patton Shoemaker regarding the many problems I have with Des Moines City Council. Patton?
Hello?
Yep.
Hi, I just want to say for like the 20th time, my name is Peyton Shoemaker. So I'm just gonna go off where Luke left off. So this is not a valid reason to stop a motorist. These officers then manipulated the situation, claiming they smelled marijuana, searching the car and charging him with possession of a controlled substance. They later dropped this charge, begging the question why those officers charged him with marijuana possession in the first place. In short, 3 white officers racially profiled Jared Clinton, again, carried out another discriminatory pretextual stop, and took Jared to jail without any legitimate cause to do so. Unfortunately, you'll have to get used to hearing these officers' names. D'Amico Fugenshoe is currently bringing a lawsuit against the very same officer, Ryan Steinkamp, and officer Brian Minahan, involved in Jared's unjust arrest, and there are striking similarities between the suits. In 2018, Officer Steinkamp and Minahan pulled over D'Amico, claiming he had cut off another driver. As body cam footage reveals, they violently pulled him from his car without explanation, handcuffed him, and knocked his head into the door frame as they put him in the police vehicle. And how do you think they justified this arrest?
Time.
All right. Now let's move to Indira Shoemaker regarding the city of Des Moines government is undemocratic and oppressive. Indira?
The truth is, they realize that Iowa law doesn't require them to have any transparency with the disciplinary actions they take. And most importantly, the police force has a culture of no accountability for wrongdoing. In fact, history has proven that excessive force is actually built into the way DMPD chooses to operate. Picking up back on this pretextual stop, this is not a valid reason to stop a motorist. As Peyton said, how do you think they justify this arrest, given that it's not legal to arrest someone for a mere traffic violation? That's right. These two decided to fabricate a presence of a controlled substance, again, charging DeMecco with possession of weed. The issue is there was no marijuana shake on the floor of DeMecco's car, and the scale that officers Steinkamp and Minahan put in their report was in fact just a portable phone charger, leading the Polk County prosecutors to drop the possession charge a few months later. Not only are Steinkamp and Minahan racist, not only are they liars, but they are exceptionally inept liars. It is important to note that in 2015, it was discovered that 2 Des Moines police officers planted methamphetamine on an individual in order to make an arrest. There's a precedent at DMPD for lying about the presence of drugs and even planting drugs in order to achieve an arrest. The last ongoing case I have to share with you tonight is against the very same officer, Kyle Ties, who was responsible for harassing Jared Clinton and Montre Little in 2019. This time, Courtney Saunders was the victim of Officer Ties' racial profiling habits. Again, a white DMPD officer stopped a black male without proper reasoning. And Officer Ties' words.
All right, let's quickly move to Jalen Kevel regarding injustice in Des Moines. Jalen? Can you unmute yourself, Jalen?
Yep, unmuted. Picking up where Indira left off, I really hope y'all are paying attention to this. This is really important. In Officer Theis' words, the turn Courtney made in his car didn't feel right. Of course, after Theis and his partners detained Courtney and prepared to issue him a ticket for parking too near a fire hydrant, they decided to look around and see if they could allege any more severe violations of the law. They settled on writing Courtney a ticket for an open liquor bottle in his back seat, despite the fact that he was completely sober when tested on the scene. Officer Theis' attempt to once again burden a young, innocent black man with unfounded charges. Judge Heather Dickinson found Courtney Saunders not guilty of both the traffic violation and the open liquor bottle violation. It is almost as if the police officers were searching for ways to incriminate Saunders. Food for thought. Judge Dickinson described her decision on Courtney's case with these words: the court did not find Officer Theis' testimony credible, and numerous times during his testimony, the court observed that he appeared to be smirking. City Council members, do you remember earlier this year when you were all presented with an opportunity to completely prohibit pretextual stops, and you chose instead to leave it up to the police officers to use their own discretion on what discrimination looks like? Are you all starting to notice how your decisions have dire consequences for the citizens you're supposed to be representing? These are the stories of your community members' lives being permanently damaged, not trivial anecdotes to go in one ear and out the other.
All right. That brings us to 5 o'clock, and we are going to move on. At the moment, we will come back as soon as we're done with our hearings and to our speaking items and requests by our citizens. It's 5 o'clock, but I quickly want to let everybody know, for the hearings this evening, we have several zoning items consisting of items 39 to 41. We've also 2 vacation hearings and 2 continuances in other hearing items. We understand that at previous meetings, there's been some confusion about when the public may raise their hand on a Zoom call. So we're going to remind the public of the rules for this evening. And for the zoning items only, again, those are items 39 to 41. We will hear from the parties in interest first, and then the general public. So the parties in interest are only the applicant for the rezoning and those within 250 feet of the property to be rezoned, to whom the city sent a notice. And after all the parties in interest have commented, we will then open it up to any member of the public for germane comments. To aid the city clerk in calling on the parties in interest, I will ask everyone else, don't raise your hand on the Zoom call unless they are on the zoning applicant. You are that person, or you live within that 250 feet and received that mailed notice. Anyone who raises their hand before it is their time will be compared to that mailed list, and if not on the list, will be considered disruptive, and we will not be recognized for the remainder of the meeting. So please, I ask you all, wait until I call on the general public for the zoning items, or you will not be called on for the remainder of this meeting. For those members of the general public who want to raise their hands, we're going to call on you for up to a total of 7 minutes of total germane public comment at 1 minute per person for those zoning items after the parties in interest have spoken. For the other hearings that are not zoning hearings, the public may raise their hands immediately upon me reading the items for comment that are germane to that item only. And for the vacation hearings, each is designed to allow the public to comment concerning the discontinuance of the use of city property and the conveyance of property interest. As the city is the property owner, the city's representative is going to have the opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes concerning the topic, and the public will be called on for 5 minutes of germane public comment. Again, not to exceed 1 minute per person. For item 35, that's a bond refunding hearing, which is being not only to reduce the amount of interest that the city's going to pay on those bonds, and objections will be received electronically, and the public will be called on for up to 10 minutes of germane public comment on objections to the refunding, yet not to exceed 1 minute per person. No public comment is going to be taken on items 38 and 42, as those both hearings are to be continued, such that each public hearing will be open and then immediately continued by the council. For the remainder of the hearings this evening, any person may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing item. And I want to remind all the members of the public that this is council business meeting, and that the council will conduct its meetings efficiently and in as orderly a manner as possible. And to clarify our rules, citizen comments must be germane to the subject being considered. And those not will, I will rule on the germaneness in arguing about any ruling, referring to other comments of other speakers, or engaging in repetitive or slanderous comments, or continuing to be non-germane, even on the same item, will be considered disruptive, and any such person will not be called upon for the remainder of the meeting. And this includes those persons who have signed up to speak. And if you disrupt the meeting or adversely affect the orderliness or efficiency of our meeting, you will not be recognized for the public speaking portion of the agenda, and we will instead move on to the next not disqualified speaker. So again, hate to be repetitive, but I want to continue to let everybody know what those rules are, and then let's begin. Right now, our first hearing item is number 35, and it's on the issuance of not to exceed $40 million general obligation refunding capital loan notes, series 2021A, council communication number 20-524A is authorization for additional action. And again, see if there's any germane. Scott, do you want to make a quick comment here?
So this is, as noted, Mayor, this is simply a refunding to receive a smaller or smaller interest rate and save funds.
And save our taxpayers.
Yeah,
I'll
this
move.
is real.
Do you want me to move?
Yeah, go ahead, Connie.
I was going to move 35A. This is something that hopefully goes, this will offer us an opportunity to do more things and create savings for those taxpayers.
All right. The item's been moved. Let's see if there's any comment. Again, 1 minute per person, maximum 10. Vanessa.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, I'd like to bring a point of order. As you were discussing the rules, I attended the work session this morning, and Joe Gatto should never be allowed to run a meeting as he was bullying everyone. Also, Bill Gray is my council member, and he did not call me back today, and I don't appreciate that.
Not germane to that, Vanessa. All right. Seeing no one else? We have a motion. Poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Connor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Item 36. It's on the vacation of a portion of 25th Street and alley right-of-way located between Forest Avenue and Clark Street, west of 24th Street, and the conveyance to the Des Moines Independent Community School District. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by Michelle D. Morgan Huggins, Drake University Planning and Design Manager. It requires 6 votes. Ask if any council members, any thoughts on this one?
Yes, Mayor, I'll be happy to move 36, 36A and B. That 25th Street has no homes on it. The west side's completely owned by Drake. We get no property tax revenue out of it, yet we have to maintain it. We have to plow snow off of it. It's not a real moneymaker for us, so I'm going to move 36A and B.
All right, 36A and B have been moved. Let's move to any public comment. Vanessa. One minute per person and then 5 minutes maximum. Vanessa?
Were we calling on the parties on this one?
No.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure because Matt Cohn had said he was going to speak.
Okay, if he's here, let him speak.
Okay, yeah, he is.
Matt? Matt?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Sorry about that. It's only on to speak if needed, but I'll just quickly say that this is Matt Cohn with RDG Planning and Design, 301 Grand Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa. And here speaking on behalf of both Drake University and Des Moines Public Schools, of which there's several members of our team also on the call, Michelle Huggins, Ryan Arnold from Drake University, Bill Good, Daryl Giersdorf, and Dave Berger from Des Moines Public Schools, and Jason Bloom, landscape architect from RDG as well. We want to thank the city staff for their assistance on this in this process, including community development, engineering, and real estate as we've worked through this process, as well as those who conducted the traffic impact study on this item as well. So looking forward to hearing the rest of the comments and available for questions if needed.
All right, thanks, Matt. Let's move to Vanessa. Vanessa? There you go.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to bring another point of clarification that Kay put a white male in front of me to speak. I thought that was extremely rude. I don't care who he is. This is public comment time, and I am a part of the public, and you already called on me. Also, I don't know why you interrupted me while I was speaking during the last time you called on me. I was trying to tell you that you've created an unsafe space in this meeting, in this space for these meetings, because Joe Gatto is a bully. He literally rolls his eyes at us while we're speaking.
Vanessa.
I'm not disruptive. I'm telling you.
Adam?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Adam. I use he, him pronouns. I wanted to call attention. This is actually part of the Drake Stadium move. I don't know why Bill Gray, who is apparently in support of this, shied away from the fact that this is for the Drake Stadium. He was instead talking about some other random stuff. This is for the Drake Stadium, and actually the construction on this has already started. So I don't know either why we're voting on this now after the construction has started, or why we aren't like holding them accountable for starting construction without city approval. It seems like we're willing to hold people accountable to ridiculous things with police breaking into people's apartments to arrest them. But when it comes to like construction workers and property owners, it feels like they just get to do whatever they want. I just wanted to point that out with this especially, and with Drake wanting to skip the next few readings of this because they know it's controversial. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Dan? Pardon.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak this evening. I just want to point out, to fund this project, DMPS is using $15 million in SAVE funds that is currently tied up in litigation that it will very likely lose. City Council, would you let a condominium project contractor do the same thing? No, you would make that contractor show it has secured the proper funding before it begins construction. DMPS does not have secure funding. When a judge rules that the district must call for a public vote and the public says no, DMPS will either have to take $15 million out of the general fund to repay the SAVE funds or turn the stadium over to Drake University at a significant loss. Those are both terrible options for the taxpayers of Des Moines. The council has the ability to put an end to all of this. Vote no on the rezoning and send a message that the public wants to vote on the use of SAVE funds for this project. There are thousands of taxpayers who are mad, upset, and tired of being pushed around by the very people they elected. And Mr. Gray, this is about a lot more than being a moneymaker. Do the right thing, listen to your constituents, and please vote no. Thank you.
Peyton Shoemaker.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, I just want to thank you for finally saying my name correctly. And then also, I wanted to add on to what Dan had just said about this not just being about, making money, but also if Bill Gray, you said you were so concerned with this property, just like sitting there, not making any money for the city and kind of being like a sink for funds. But, when you guys lose this litigation, you're going to lose way more money than you're going to lose by just having to like clean up snow from it. So I really think that you should consider that. I also want to say Linda Westergaard and Joe Gatto, who voted no on the other thing about the Save Our Stadiums. I think that you should also vote no on this and that you should have something to say about this and, stand up for your constituents because, that's really what we want from you. So if you could stand up for your constituents on this as well, because, it's really the same issue. Drake is trying to have this waive so that they can start construction, but really they've actually already started construction, which is a whole nother issue that should also be addressed by City Council.
Time.
Jalen? Can you unmute yourself, Jalen?
I actually did unmute myself. Then City Clerk Kay muted me again. So I once again ask Kay, watch it with the mute, please. But yeah, as it pertains to item number 36, I will say that I do not support this because it does pertain to the new stadium that y'all are talking about wanting to build in partnership with Drake and the MPS. And I will say that it's regrettable that the Des Moines Public Schools would pay millions of dollars for this stadium. One way, though, that the Des Moines Public Schools could save $1 million or so would be to cancel the contract for SROs in schools and for the City Council to do the same. We need cops out of schools. We need to end the school to prison pipeline. Thank you.
Were we on the 5 minutes?
This is the last speaker.
Okay, no, Molly. No, it looks like Bridget. I'm sorry.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
So I just want to say it is painfully obvious that the community has unwavering support against the stadium. And it doesn't matter how long you wait around for public opinion, it has come back and the public is overwhelmingly against the stadium. And only those who stand to profit from a partnership with Drake are in favor of it. It's painfully obvious. The public doesn't want it. Vote against this.
All right. Thank the public for your input. Again, this is property that owns by Drake University, and we're working on the right-of-ways on Forest Avenue and the alleys. So at any rate, Bill, you have a motion? Do you want to?
That's right, Mayor.
Or do you want to vote 36A and then how do you want to do it?
Let's go for 36 and then 36A.
Okay. Well, we do first move and then whether or not we do B. I see Councilmember Gatto's hand is up.
Yeah, Mayor, just real quick, just a couple response to some of the comments that were made. First of all, this is not our stadium. This is the Des Moines Public School Board that voted to put this stadium there. So to put it on the Des Moines City Council now, when I listened to the vote for the stadium, there was a lot of folks on there. A lot of them that are speaking tonight weren't on that meeting in objection. So to put this on us isn't the right thing that should be fought about. The stadium should go to a vote. I'm in complete agreement with that 100%. But this alleyway that we're conveying or we're giving to Drake, this should have been Drake's in the first place. We should never have to have dealt with this. It's on their property. There's no tax dollars for it. So I'll be supportive of Mr. Gray's motion here, but you can't just pin this on the stadium. This is for all the taxpayers' savings for this portion of it.
All right.
That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Bill?
Yep, my motion is for 36A. We'll see how that goes.
36 and 36A. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Now, Mayor, I'll move 36B.
All right. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right.
And by the way, Mayor, I think we've talked about this stadium more than the Des Moines Public School and have more public comment than they've ever had on it, just for the record.
All right, let's move on to item number 37. This is on a portion for the vacation of a portion of Ashworth Park located north of and adjoining 514 Foster Drive, and approval of land exchange agreement with David Steffes and Wendy S. Steffes, Council Communication number 20-523. A is the first consideration, the ordinance above. B is the final consideration, the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by the manager. Mr. Manager, would you like to hit this real quickly? I know that it looks like the city is getting about twice as much ground as what we're giving.
Yes.
So the city is getting the 7,000 plus square feet.
Yeah, the square feet, that is correct, Mayor. The square feet that the city receives is more than what we are giving to the property owner.
Almost 12.
It's all, and that's correct, and it's all on the same parcel.
All right, any council comment on 37?
I don't have any comment, but I'm happy to move 37 and 37A and B after we have the comments from the public.
Okay. Any public comment on item 37? All right, again, 1 minute per person, and it looks like we have Adam. Adam Callahan. Adam?
Hello, my name is Adam. I use him pronouns. So this, just to give some context to this, because it's not very clear from the item. There's a trade of land between a couple and Ashworth Park because the couple built a driveway into Ashworth Park. And so the agreement here is that the couple is giving some of their land in exchange for the land that they basically stole of the cities. I'm not supporting this because I don't understand why we aren't really like penalizing this like couple that it's quite frankly, it's like a nice house. It's a nice house. They have like a huge driveway, and we're not really penalizing them in any way because like calling part of their yard a park isn't going to like do anything to them. So we basically just let them steal some public land, and it really feels like there's no penalties for the rich stealing public land. It's a shame to lose part of Ashworth Park. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, Frida.
Hi, yeah, I am actually fully in favor of the city in Des Moines giving its land to people who need it to live on. Unlike these folks who have been, I guess illegally, living on city land for however long they've owned that property, the city of Des Moines is about to evict roughly, 30 people from their homes downtown because technically the land that they stay on is owned by the city. So I don't understand why, we're okay with ceding public land to this wealthy couple when y'all are also turning around and evicting folks from their home during a pandemic just because it is city property. I think that y'all should give city property to whoever needs it to live on because housing is a human right and evictions during a pandemic are violence.
KT.
Yeah, I fully agree with what Frida just said, and I want to kind of bring back up the couple that had the driveway at Waveland. The city started charging them for their driveway being at the Waveland golf course. If you are going to give land away to people who have money, but yet not give land away to people who are being evicted and to couples who have driveways that go into golf courses, I just don't see a correlation there. So I feel like maybe you could revisit that as well. And I yield my time.
Jalen.
Hello. Hi. Just want to speak on item number 37 as it pertains to this land that is, I guess, being given to these folks. And I want to uplift what Frida said because I thought that that was really a really important point that needs to be, pounded and hit home. Because when we're talking about land, there's so many folks here that are living on city property and city land, and they're being violently evicted. But we're still giving this land to this couple, right? That might be a nice couple, but why do they get to get some of the city land? But folks who are really out here struggling on the streets don't get city land. And I think it's also important that we acknowledge that this land was stolen in the first place. So our indigenous brothers, sisters, and siblings, where's their land? They need their land back, right? So when we're talking about city land and who gets what, I think we need to always making sure that we're centering the most marginalized folks in our communities, especially our houseless neighbors and our indigenous brothers, sisters, and siblings.
All right, I don't believe we have any more qualified speakers. Thank you all for input. Let's call the question and poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Let's move to item 38. Item 38 is items regarding the market district in the vicinity of Southeast 4th Street and East Market Street, generally from the Des Moines River on the west to Southeast 5th Street on the east, and from East Vine Street on the north to East Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway on the south. These are all separate items, so I would ask that, and again, these are continuing the hearing, so we're not going to have any input on this, but we need to vote on them separately. So if somebody would move A and then B and then C, because they're all separate pieces of property.
Sure. So, Mayor, I'll move 38A to begin with.
Okay, A is continuing the hearing on the addition of the Market District Large-Scale Development Plan as an amendment to the Market District of the East Village Master Plan element of Plan DSM, creating our tomorrow future land use designation to December 21st of 2020. Let's call the question.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Your Honor, I will move 38B.
All right, B has been moved and it's continuing the hearing on the city-initiated request to rezone property located in the area west of Southeast 2nd Street in the Market District from DX2 Downtown District to limited DXR Downtown District, again to December 21st. This item's been moved. Let's poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item C.
Your Honor, I will move item 38C.
All right, 38C has been moved. This one is continuing the hearing on a city-initiated request to rezone property located in the area east of Southeast 2nd Street in the Market District from DX2 Downtown District and or P2 Public Civic and Institutional District to limited DX1 Downtown District. And again, we're going to move it to December 21st of 2020. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, it moves us to item 39. Item 39 is a zoning item. And this one is on the request of Tiger Knight LLC. It's the owner. Barry Nelson is the president. To amend Plan DSM, creating our tomorrow future land use designation and rezone property located at 1210 and 1220 Army Post Road from RX1 Neighborhood Mixed District to limited MX3 Mixed Use District to allow use of existing commercial building for a greater variety of permitted mixed uses, such as retention of lawn care business in operation on the property. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by Barry J. Nelson, president, and requires 6 votes. So again, item 39. Council, any comments on this one?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll note, I've heard from folks in the Watrous South neighborhood with general concern about the upkeep of this property. And I've asked a couple questions of staff regarding some of the items. We recently had to go to court to get a nuisance. We declared it a nuisance and then to get an enforcement action. So I just want to take a little more time to make sure we understand the full range of compliance, and also to encourage, if the property owner is on the call, to encourage the property owner to better upkeep this property and the appearance of this property. So I'm willing to move the first consideration of the ordinance this evening, but want some time to do additional due diligence before final consideration.
Josh, I would agree with you 100%. It needs cleaned up a little bit. I know it was vacant for many years, but whoever's taken it over, I think they can. They're asking us for this request. I think they need to do a better job of keeping the upkeep. So I appreciate you taking a step back and making sure we've got the right things in place to move it forward.
All right. I will say, just to remind everybody, we need the parties in interest first in those that have been noticed that are within 250 feet. So We will ask the general public to please not raise your hand at this moment. We'll ask parties in interest if there are any here, and we'll compare that with the list that was noticed. And sound like maybe we would like to hear from the Tiger Knight representatives if they're on. Anybody? I don't see any parties in interest. Okay, do you?
No, Your Honor, I was looking through trying to see if anyone was there, and I'm not recognizing any.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's go ahead and open it up. Are there any general public individuals who would like to make comment on this? Seeing none, let's, item's been moved.
Your Honor, someone raised their hand now.
Okay, Jalen?
Hey, yeah, so I actually live in Watcher South neighborhood. So shout out, Josh gave us a shout out, so that's cool. But as it pertains to item number 39 on the agenda, I don't know. I feel like, okay, so like you're saying that their place is messy, so people don't like the appearance of the outside of their place, so they're not gonna be able to get the planned DSM money. Is that correct? They're not getting approved for this because folks are complaining about their property being too messy. Or they're not getting approved for the rezoning application. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like what's up, Josh? Did you want to clarify something?
I think the Jalen, just so that you understand, it has been moved to approve, but first consideration only.
Oh, because of the appearance y'all are saying?
Yeah, and hopeful get some more input from the parties as to how they're going to manage this moving forward.
Okay, I hear. So it sounds like y'all are being pretty vigilant with this and trying to maintain the upkeep of the neighborhood. Would just ask that y'all be a little bit more vigilant on police violence and the DMPD. Thanks.
All right, Jalen.
Scott, can we make sure that staff maybe contacts Mr. Nelson and maybe he can be available when we do the second reading or even the third reading to maybe answer some of Josh and I's concerns about this property?
Yes, I can have that done.
That would be great.
All right. Let's call the question and pull the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Takes us to item 40. On a request from Laverne and Maxine Anderson, who are the owners, to rezone property at 1100 East Marion Street from N3A Neighborhood District to Limited NX2 Neighborhood Mixed District to allow the existing residential dwelling to continue to be used for group living use, including requiring conditional use approval. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is the final consideration of the ordinance. The waiver is requested by Laverne and Maxine Anderson, who are the owners. It requires 6 votes. And again, this is a zoning item, and we will ask if there, let's get some council input now, but we would ask first that parties in interest put their hands up that are either the owners of the property or those within 250 feet that are in interest in this, that have received notice. Council, any comments on this one?
Yep, Mayor, just a brief comment. On November 23rd, this went through the P&Z. It was 14-0 in support of approval of this. I tend to agree with that. I will move 40 A and B after we can listen to some public comment if you'd like.
Okay. The item has been moved. Council, any other comments? All right, seeing none. Let's open it up. Parties in interest. I'd ask parties in interest.
He is not, Luke is not on my list of parties in interest. For number 40.
Yeah, the Freedom House Group Living is what the house is. Okay, I didn't know if you knew that.
No, I'm just looking at the list that was provided by zoning.
Gotcha.
I'm seeing no hands up on the parties in interest.
Correct.
So if there's anybody who is not a party in interest, put their hand up. All right, seeing none, let's call the question, poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 41, which is on a request from Morgan Maurer, who's the owner, to amend Plan DSM, creating our future future land use designation and to rezone 2104 East 21st Street from I-1 Industrial District to N3A Neighborhood District to allow the extension of an existing household living residential use with addition of a new accessory detached garage, replacing a recently demolished detached garage that sustained storm damage with a larger accessory structure. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by Morgan Maurer, who's the owner, and it again is going to require 6 votes. Council?
Mr. Mayor, we'll wait for comments, but I would move item 41A and B. And I would also like to ask city staff to give me or give us an update on what we're doing for the rest of the homes on that street. You know, when we changed our zoning, we made this street with all single family homes into an industrial district, which really makes it hard for property owners to do any kind of updates or repairs to the house because they're not zoned correctly. So I would like to have an update as to when we will see that entire street come back to us.
Mayor, we can provide that update.
All right. Did you have one? Yeah, city manager, hopefully you heard him, said that we can provide that update. So thank you, Linda, for adding that in.
Great, thank you.
Joe, did you have a comment?
I have one, Mayor.
Yep.
Scott, I know that we passed the new zoning, and isn't this something that administratively that can be changed? I thought that's what our goal was, to be able to do some easy things like this administratively. I know a lot of these projects that they want to build garages or doing things like that are going to P&Z, and I'm just wondering why we're not able to change some of these administratively, and we're pushing it through the process that we had basically before, and that's not how we were sold on the new form-based code.
Yeah.
So you don't have to answer now, but I hopefully you can get us all an email back with some of our concerns. I mean, I hear what Linda's saying, and this isn't the only property in our city that we've zoned when we did the new map. And so now we're trying to catch up, and we got to amend it all. And I understand some of that, but a lot of this we said was going to be easier with staff being able to do some of these administratively. And if you go to P&Z on some of their agenda items, a lot of them is garages. And so just food for thought.
Yeah, I can provide an answer to that in writing, but essentially it comes down to this being a non-conforming issue. So there was not a lot of flexibility within the new code on non-conforming uses. So I'll get a full explanation in writing to the council.
But it's non-conforming, but there used to be a structure there. It's non-conforming because we zoned it differently.
Correct.
Compared to what it was zoned, what was the existing structure was there. So we zoned it what we want it to be in the future, but people still live there. So we're asking them, okay, if your house gets wrecked, you've got to ask for a new zoning. Well, that's not what I want to do, is kick people out of their homes.
Yeah, it needs a correction for the whole street, as Councilwoman Westergaard indicated. So we'll put that forward in a full explanation of the flexibility we have and don't have in the code.
And maybe when we change this street, we can look at some of the other properties that we've all had complaints about, and we can change them all at once and amend it all at one time.
Yeah, we'll look at doing multiple at the same time.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, let's, again, this is a zoning issue. We would ask for parties and interests to please put their hands up at this time. Again, that's either the individual who harassed the zoning or those within 250 feet who have been noticed on this. And we'd ask those to put their hand up at this time. Only those. All right, seeing none of those, general public, any comments here? All right, Adam?
Oh, my name is Adam Callahan, he, him pronouns. I was just wondering, this mentioned storm damage, and I was just wondering if council knew if this was storm from the derecho, or if it's just different storm damage. Thanks.
All right. I see a Vanessa up there. Vanessa?
Hi, yes. Defund DMPD and you all should quit. You all suck.
All right. There's no other qualified speakers. So we'll go ahead and call the question and poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 42 again is a continuance. It's of a hearing on approving form and authorizing execution of a short-term lease with USS Huseman LLC for the rental of warehouse space for equipment storage at 301 Southeast 8th Street for the temporary use by the Public Works Department. And that is going to be continued till December 21st of 2020. Could we have,
Your Honor, I'll move 42.
all right, thanks. Item's been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 43, which is on the 2021 traffic signal replacement contract 2, a resolution approving the plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Iowa Signal Inc. Wayne Leslie is president, $464,846.87. Council communication number 20-525. A is approving of the contract and the bond and permission to sublet. Again, we will ask the general public for germane comments on this public item, and we're going to limit it to 1 minute per person, 5 minutes total.
I'll move 43 and 43A.
All right, 43 and 43A has been moved. And let's start I guess, with Jay Lynn.
You guess? But speaking on item number 43, on the traffic signal replacement contract, interesting note, actually, the traffic signal was invented by a black man. Pretty tight. But yeah, traffic signals are really important. One important note about traffic signals and their use is that they're actually used a lot of times to racially profile and pretextually stop black motorists in the city of Des Moines. One time I was actually racially profiled because of a traffic signal. It was about a year ago, and a cop was following me for about 5 minutes through some south side streets all the way around to by my house. When I took a right on a yellow light, the cop pulled me over and said that I did not slow down enough when I took a right on this yellow light, which is not a justified reason to pull someone over.
For replacements.
But I was driving while I was black, so the Des Moines Police Department decided to pull me over. There's a history of pretextual stops and racial discrimination in the Des Moines Police Department, which we.
Thank you. KT?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Are you there? Yes. Sorry. I just want to say to Vanessa, I love you and the rest of the Des Moines City Council. I want to pause for a moment to recognize that every traffic signal that goes across Iowa in Des Moines, I'm sorry, Joe Gatto, we just want to talk about Des Moines, I know.
Okay. Let's call the question. Item's been moved. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Item 44 is on historic pillar repair on the southwest corner of Chaffee Road and Army Post Road. Resolution approving the plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Renaissance Restoration, Inc. Terry W. Cole is president, $44,390. Council communication number 20-528. A is the approval of the contract and bond with same. Council, any
But Mr. Mayor, and Scott and I have discussed this, and I don't know if you got an answer back yet, Scott, but this is the second one in a 6-year period since I've been on the council that have been either destroyed and we've had to put back together, or we just need some sort of guard in front of these so we stop demolishing them if somebody would hit that. Is that allowed, Scott, that we can put some type of pillar in front of them? So if a car wouldn't hit this historic pillars that have been there for years? Is there something we can do to protect these so it doesn't happen anymore?
So Councilman, I don't have all that research completed yet, so I apologize. We're looking into how we might be able to do that.
Okay.
But we definitely need to get these repairs done. So
yeah,
we add to it if we get the permission to do that.
So that would be my, part of this is if we can do it through the historic preservation, if they will allow us to put something in front of it to protect these, that will be added to this cost of this. We will be doing that, correct?
Yeah, if you make that part of the motion, we'll likely be able to add that under my authorization.
Okay.
Dollar amount, but that way the public knows that that's the intent.
Yes, I would definitely like that to be the intent, that we're able to protect those, unless someone from the historic preservation says absolutely not, you can't do that, which that would surprise me if they would. So I will move with that as part of my motion, 44 and 44A, please.
All right. 40 and 44A is moved. We can open it up to the general public. I will say that the germane comments. Essentially, this is about approving the plans, the specifications, and the form of the contract documents, and the engineer's estimate. That's what we're discussing here. Anything else would not be germane. So we'll go ahead and open it up to Adam.
Hello, my name is Adam Callanan. I use he, him pronouns. So we were looking at this one, and yeah, it almost feels like Jenga towers or something. They just keep falling over. It's pretty ridiculous. And this is a $44,000 repair. It's costing the city $44,000. The city engineer's estimate was actually $40,000. So first off, I'm not really sure what that extra like $4,000 is coming from. I know $4,000 is a lot of money. We could do a lot of good for a lot of people with $4,000 or $40,000. Yeah, I'm not sure what the historical relevance is, so I don't want to comment too much on this unless we have some answers about that. But I don't just it feels like a waste of money to be spending that much money. Like I said, unless the historical relevance is like outstanding, and I'm just unaware of it. But it seems like this is a danger to drivers, and it's a cost for this city. So yeah, if I could know what the difference in the estimate was about and what the historical relevance is, that would help. Thanks.
All right, KT, anything germane to this?
Yes, yes, I promise I will try my hardest to remain germane. So, as I was trying to say before, is it possible for this money to be saved if I try to look up the pillars. I don't know what they look like. Can we save money by moving those pillars somewhere? Like, can they be moved? And also this land that we're talking about is land that we should pause and recognize it doesn't belong to us. So can we preserve this land and move the pillars to somewhere else so we're not dumping money to constantly fix these pillars that will be destroyed by another car running into them? Because it's going to keep happening. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Right, Christopher Morse.
Christopher Morse, 3517 52nd Street, he, him, his pronouns. Thank you, City Council. The only comment that I have on this is really brought up from the request that Joe Gatto made to City Engineering to find some sort of protective barrier or structure that would protect these pillars. I would just like to comment that I believe this people of the City of Des Moines would like to see more of these types of structures where they're needed, as long as they're able to add to the look and the feel that a respective neighborhood has. As you guys know, there's a lot of unique charm in many of our communities. So I would just pass that comment, or ask that that comment be passed along to city staff, that we don't, for example, just put some guardrails in front of it or some barrels full of sand and water. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that is a request from the Neighborhood Association, Fort Des Moines Neighborhood Association, including Watcher South and most of the South Side Neighborhoods Association. Many calls would like these protected. They've been there since World War II. But I appreciate Chris's comments.
All right, I think that's the last of our qualified speakers. Let's call the question.
Carl did have his hand raised and hasn't got to speak.
Oh, thank you, Mayor County. So I think one of the problems here is that there's a private road that is adjoining this. So I think we might have to work with the group that owns the private road to add some stop signs here, because it's not all public streets in this area of the Fort Des Moines. I believe in discussing this with Jonathan Gano. That is part of the problem here. Joe, do I have that close to being right?
Yeah, I think we still plow that road. I'm not sure if because it goes back to the Blackbird property where they redid all the Fort Des Moines buildings, and then there's another apartment. Then it also has the Fort Des Moines Museum there and the chapel there. So I don't know. I mean, a stop sign, there's a stoplight right there where this one is. South Union runs directly into it. So there is a stoplight. I'm not sure. I've had lots of folks ask for the barriers to help protect these, so they stop, because another one on Southwest 9th was completely destroyed 4 or 5 years ago. And, they just like something to be able to protect them, so we don't keep spending tax dollars and fixing them.
So there's at least 2 of these pillars. There may be more. Let's take a look at all of them, because just because they haven't been whacked recently, and we may have to get to work in partnership with the private firm that owns the intersecting street here to add a stop sign or something more. So
yeah, you could be right, Carl. Absolutely. So I would include that in part of my motion, Scott, that we would contact them. Obviously, I'm sure you will if we need their permission to put those up.
Yeah, and we'll look at all the pillars as well.
Okay, great.
All right, let's call the question and poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, let's note that we ended the hearings at 5:59. Let's go back now to our request to speak from the public. We have item J, which is Emily Gibson regarding the COVID surge and precautions. Emily?
Emily, you have your name twice, so could you, just a moment. Could you raise your hand for which one is your active one? Okay, thank you.
Emily?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Emily Gibson, Ward 3. I use she, her pronouns. I had planned on talking about the public danger faced by citizens being arrested in jail during a pandemic in Polk County, and how this is disproportionately affects Black community members who are at higher risk of death from COVID-19. But I'd also like to pick up where Jalen left off. These stories we've shared of our community members' lives being permanently damaged are not trivial anecdotes to go in one ear and out the other. You need to pass a complete ban on pretextual stops so that Black folks in Des Moines community won't continue to be subjected to their racist pastimes of bored and hyper-aggressive Des Moines police officers. Since you all neglect to create a citizens oversight committee that has the power to investigate and adjudicate the complaints of racial profiling this summer, all accountability falls to Chief Winger and the DMPD in instances like when community members of our community like Jared D'Amico and Courtney have their rights violated. It seems, given many of your statements and actions throughout the last year, that you all have quite the idealized impression of what our police department are in the city. You seem to think
Time.
All right, let's move to Patcha Morgan regarding community engagement. Patcha?
Your Honor, I'm not seeing her name.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Randy is next.
All right, Randy Shoemaker regarding injustice in Des Moines. Randy?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
For my 75 seconds allowed, I want to choose carefully words that the council hears. Words that come to mind are germane, time, and next speaker. These seem to be the power words of this forum. So germane to the idea of limited speech and interface of representative democracy. The remainder of my time before the next speaker will be silence. Don't cut me off early, I'm still on the clock. Just choosing silence in the face of a council that doesn't listen, awaiting the time when they're voted out. Yeah, next speaker.
All right, Jacob Grove regarding city council. Jacob?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Mayor. So my name's Jacob Groby. I live in the Ingersoll Park area. My hometown, Ottawa, Illinois, is just 4 hours directly east of Des Moines. In February of 2017, we got hit by an F3 tornado, leveling most of the homes and businesses it ran through and killing 4 people. My grandmother's home was just a block away from the destruction, and the experience was just like living through the derecho this summer in Des Moines. And the feeling of rage was the same. We've known for over 30 years that global warming is caused by burning fossil fuels like coal, and that it would increase the frequency and possibility of extreme weather like tornadoes in the middle of winter and an inland hurricane such as a derecho. For 30 years, energy corporations have lied to us and bought governments to let them pollute at will for private profits at our expense. In 2020, it sickens me to hear City Council members Joe Gatto and Linda Westergaard treat climate action as a pet project rather than the existential threat it is to all of humanity and especially their constituents. The 100% resolution would put us on a path that provides the most security for Des Moines residents and beyond. It would bring local jobs, energy resiliency, independence, lower rates, cleaner.
All right. Next speaker is Giovanni Medina regarding lack of COVID response from city government.
Hello.
Mic's open. Go ahead.
Bahena, B-A-H-E-N-A, Bahena, hen like a mother's chicken.
All right,
Thank
Bahena,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome. As Emily was saying, you seem to think DMPD is the one police department in the nation that is free of bias and functions to protect more than just wealthy white property owners. If those presumptions were true, Chief Wingert would have terminated his officers when they repeatedly and blatantly profiled members of the Des Moines community based on their race. Rather, he and his media mouthpiece, Paul Parizek, have helped praise on the guilty officer. After Sergeant Greg Wessels pepper sprayed and assaulted Kyla Williams, a 17-year-old black girl, Parizek had said to this, Sergeant Wessels is a respected 31-year veteran of the Des Moines Police Department, having served in nearly every unit within the department. And Wessels continues to hold his position in the department. This is despite his unconscionable actions toward a teenager and nearly $900,000 he has cost this city collectively between the Williams lawsuit and a previous case.
All right, next speaker, Leah Plop, regarding continued inaction, Des Moines City Council.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, my name's Leah. I use she, her, hers pronouns. Before I start, I'd like to say that Jaleisha had signed up to speak tonight, but wasn't placed on the agenda. You are actively silencing Black women and you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, and I want you to do better moving forward. As Giovanni said, the nearly $900,000 he has cost the city collectively between the Williams lawsuit and a previous case brought against him for another disturbing assault on a man in 2013. In addition to the 2 cases I've already mentioned that are presently being brought against officers Steinkamp and Minahan. They also were the subjects of a racial profiling lawsuit that was filed in 2018. When Paul Parizek was asked to comment at the time, he said, "They're great cops who have served our neighborhoods professionally." These same two officers were responsible for the fatal shooting of Luke Swan last year. Swan, a 36-year-old Black resident of the Indianola Hills neighborhood, was thought to have been armed, yet there are no eyewitnesses to corroborate when or why Officers Steinkamp, Minahan, and their partner began shooting. These were the comments of Parizek following the killing. There are three of the people that we know who we can count on to serve the community well. Which community does Parizek continue to?
Time.
Daniel Pepper, regarding why the city council cares as little about themselves as they do others. Daniel? Can you unmute yourself, Daniel? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
To all the city council members except Josh Mendelbaum, it's obvious from this morning's working session that you have less than an elementary knowledge of the climate crisis and sustainable energy. You should have been fluent in this subject years ago. Death is quite literally at our door, and you have done nothing. You're taking your advice from Mid-American, presented in one of the worst presentations I've ever heard. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Show some respect. Just for the record, Joe Gatto, we demand you stop interrupting people. We demand you stop silencing people who are clearly more educated and more qualified than you are. Your racism and sexism are not welcome here. Resign immediately. You are a disgrace to this entire city. How can your opinion about anything be trusted? Just for the record, you will all see the consequence of your actions. Just for the record, it's hilarious to see you make a fool of yourself, Joe. Thanks for your input, though. We will look into it.
Emily Ewing, regarding injustice in Des Moines.
My name's Pastor Emily Ewing, and my pronouns are they, them, theirs. And I am the social justice pastor of Trinity Las Americas United Methodist Church in Des Moines. As Leah began to ask, which community, we wonder, does Parizek continue to refer to that these officers are apparently serving? Is community exclusive to those who wear badges and holster a gun every morning in this case? I don't normally associate assaulting a 17-year-old girl, repeated demonstrations of racism, and the killing of a community member with the concept of service. What does it tell us that even those officers who have so obviously neglected their supposed duty to serve by abusing their post are still lauded by their superiors and kept on the force? It is reminiscent to me, particularly as a pastor, of the charges against many priests who abuse their office and yet are maintained in that role. It seems only logical to assume that this is the case because none of the actions in question are in any way antithetical to how DMPD operates across the board. The only conclusion that can be drawn is that Chief Dana Wingert and his lackeys are well aware of their simple existence as a police department and that it is dependent upon perpetuating racism.
Time.
All right. Alec Johnson, regarding how the city can do its part to address global warming. Alec? Can you unmute yourself, Alec? Alec?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I'm very sorry about that. Greeting Mayor and Council members. I'm Alec Johnson. I live in Ward 3. I'm here to encourage you to pass the 100% renewable energy resolution under discussion. The merits of this resolution should be sufficient to warrant passage by this council. But let me draw your attention to a more fundamental standard that clearly applies here. It's called public trust doctrine and has been described as the slate upon which all laws are written. Its focus is the responsibility that public servants have when they are charged with looking after public property like land, rivers, streams, and even our climate, which threatens all of this without swift action to cut carbon emissions. This doctrine makes clear that public servants with this responsibility have a fiduciary duty when it comes to the stewardship of our common property. That means they must exhibit the highest duty of care. Let me repeat that, the highest duty of care. While members of this council might feel that voting in favor of this resolution is optional, true public servants, guided by the sound principle of this doctrine, have one choice, that is to vote in favor of this historic resolution. Iowa leads the nation in selecting candidates for the highest office in this country, and Des Moines leads Iowa. Now is the time to fully embrace this leadership role and make a strong statement that will echo far beyond your chambers. I thank you for the opportunity to share this insight and look forward to news of the passage of this resolution.
Harley Boldridge regarding Des Moines COVID-19 response.
Your Honor, it doesn't appear that she's on.
Okay. All right. Carolyn Yulin Hakey Walker, regarding the 100% clean energy resolution. Carolyn? I see her there. Can you move her up?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I went the wrong place. I apologize. Carolyn Eulenhake Walker, 4111 Ingersoll Avenue, member of the Task Force for Citizens and Sustainability. Mid-American made a presentation this morning at the City Council work session, and they said that they estimate that 83% of all of its energy to Iowans will come from the renewables by the end of this year. That is fantastic. But if that is the case, why not set up a reasonable timeline for closing all of the Iowa coal plants that are Mid-American, that are the #1 carbon emission polluter in Iowa in 2017. To start with, close the huge coal plant near Sioux City, say by 2023. According to reports, this would not affect your production of electric for Iowans and Des Moines residents. In closing, it would be much appreciated if you would set a reasonable timeline, Mid-America, to shut down the outdated, inefficient, and expensive operation of your coal plants. It's time we all got off of fossil fuel for our planet's safety and sake. This is why this needs to be in the clean energy. Thank you.
All right. Carter White regarding Des Moines City Council. Carter?
Okay, Carter.
Thank you. My name is Carter White, and my pronouns are he, him. As Pastor Emily has said, in fact, they make it quite clear that they intend to continue peddling hate from east to west across the city unless a certain city council that has jurisdiction over them were to take serious action to put an end to the terror they represent for people of color throughout Des Moines. This is exactly why this council has heard demands for months on end that steps are taken now to defund DMPD. This is not a plea that officers with despicable track records like Feast, Minahan, Steinkamp, Wessel, and Grimes are terminated, though that is also necessary. This is a call for the complete defunding of a police department which places targets on Black folk in Des Moines. It's a call to completely defund a police department whose leaders had made it abundantly clear that they tolerate and even incentivize the consistent violation of Black community members' civil rights. It is also a call to decriminalize marijuana. This plant is regularly weaponized by the Des Moines Police Department against people of color throughout the city. Marijuana should no longer represent criminal charges or threat of incarceration.
Wallace Mizone regarding Des Moines Police Department accountability.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as Carter was saying, during just last year, over $1 million have been doled out to the city as consequences of lawsuits that the racism and incompetence of DMPD. Yet the Des Moines City Council has turned a blind eye. In the middle of a crippling pandemic, the 3 ongoing cases against DMPD in the city has also posed a potential sacrifice of funds that could be aiding healthcare centers, those with variable housing realities, and unemployed members of our community. Instead, the money will symbolize a meager compensation for yet another wave of victims who are violently prejudiced police department. Last year, you all approved a bloating budget of $70 million to the police department that employs armed and protects proven racists. That is 39% of the entire city budget, and by far the largest police budget in the state. On December 22nd,
Time.
All right, let's move to Alejandro Moriga Ortiz regarding policing in Des Moines. Alejandro?
On December 22nd, the conversation will begin again on what portion of the city's budget will go to DMPD. We are calling upon you to defund the Des Moines Police Department as you finalize the 2021 budget. Don't be mistaken. A decision to continue financing DMPD will not be a simple expression of your difference of opinion. It will be an erasure of Jared, Montre, Kyla, Lonnie, D'Amico, and Courtney's stories, and an investment into hate and violence. I yield my time.
Isabella Brace regarding the 100% resolution. Okay, I don't see Isabella.
I don't either, Your Honor. I did send them all emails earlier, and no one notified me they were unable to attend, so.
Okay. All right, could we get a motion to receive and file the comments of our public?
I'll move to receive and file.
All right. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Opposed? The item passes. That brings us to the end of our council meeting tonight. However, I've got a couple of quick things that I want to as part of our council meeting tonight. One of our item 24 tonight, we considered the reallocation of $500,000 from the city's general fund to provide additional COVID-19 relief to support our residents in Des Moines. Those funds are going to go towards rental and mortgage assistance and aid to those experiencing homelessness. With the passage of that tonight, we're expecting to deliver checks to Impact Community Agency, Action Agency, and Home Inc. in a matter of days and get much needed help to some of our residents during what has really been a challenging year. As the mayor and our council, we continue to look for the most effective ways to support our residents during these really difficult times. The proposal for these reallocated funds will help alleviate that burden that many of our residents have found themselves in and their families during this challenging year. It's been nearly 9 months ago when I declared a state of emergency in Des Moines in response to the community spread of the coronavirus. The first cases of COVID-19 were just showing up in Iowa at that time. Today, we have nearly 250,000 cases in our state, 145,235 and 2,718 deaths. Polk County alone has had 36,000 positive cases in 357 days. Yes. The challenges we face are many, and as we have seen too often during this pandemic, our most vulnerable populations are hit the hardest, and we have to be mindful of our role to help those in our community during this most difficult of times. We continue to hand out masks, and we still have a mask mandate, which we put out. We want all of our citizens to wear masks, to social distance, to stay out of large gatherings, and to please wash frequently. And together, we're going to try to get through this. We hope that there's a vaccine on the way, but in the meantime, we have to do everything that we can to protect ourselves, our families, our parents, our grandparents, children, our grandchildren, and all those that are citizens and those that come to our community. So I want to thank everybody for all their efforts, and I want to thank our council for your continued support and efforts as we try to allocate funds to not only move forward on our streets and everything else that we've committed to, but also to help those that are struggling, and we're going to continue to do our part. So thank you all, and with that, let's call this meeting adjourned, and please, everyone stay safe, and let's try to look forward to a safe